those 15 minutes go. When you're sailing single-handed, you've got to do everything yourself. You've got to handle the boat, keep a lookout, navigate, cook. How can you do it? One thing that practically all long-distance sailors do is cut way back on their sleep. And the best way to do that seems to be to take their precious sleep time and spread it out into little catnaps. That's what most successful ocean racers do. So when you know you can only get a little sleep, you break it up into tiny pieces. Does that make sense? Now there's a sleep study that aims to figure that out.
Meet Francesco Jost. He's Swiss, he's an artist, and he's a guinea pig. For the next 7 weeks, he's going to try sleeping for just 6 half-hour naps per day. Why would he want to do that?
È abbastanza difficile spiegarlo, una cosa cioè cerco anche un po' di produzione, cioè un aumento di produzione, una cosa cerco di approfondire più un lavoro, cioè tante volte magari si fa qualcosa, cioè si produce un quadro o si produce qualsiasi oggetto, ma però non si ha quasi il tempo di riflettere e così mi trovo costretto a riflettere.
Running the experiment at a Boston Sleep Research Institute will be Claudio Stampi. Of course, sleep researchers have to sleep too, so Francesco's brain waves will be recorded 24 hours a day.
Quindi buonanotte.
Buonanotte.
Ciao.
The first thing to do is measure Francesco's brain waves during a normal 8-hour night's sleep to compare with what happens when he goes on the reduced schedule. Like most people, Francesco sleeps in cycles. First light sleep with small, rapid brain waves, then deep or slow wave sleep takes over. And finally, we reach rapid eye movement or REM sleep, when we usually dream. Cycles are repeated through the night, each lasting at least 90 minutes. So one key question is, what type of sleep will Francesco's body choose if he never sleeps longer than 30 minutes?
Probably what will happen is that the body will automatically prefer to concentrate on the sleep stages or in the sleep parts that are most important and most necessary. And maybe by this experiment we'll be able to select and filter out what are the physiological aspects of sleep that are more necessary.
As the 49-day experiment gets underway, Francesco takes advantage of the extra work time. By day 12, he's getting used to the schedule. 3.5 hours work, a half-hour sleep. Throughout each day, he has to record in his computer how he thinks he's doing. So far, everything's on the plus side. He can concentrate, he feels alert. There are regular performance tests, too. Here, he has to subtract 9 from 691. The right answer is 682. Now it's 8 from 682. Should be 674. Some mistakes, but overall, he's doing almost as well as before the experiment began.
I was surprised myself to see that the decrease in performance was so modest. Francesco was able to adapt to this schedule reasonably well in terms of performance.
But what about his type of sleep? Is he getting the 3 different kinds? He's been asked to note down his dreams, and he's still doing so. So he's probably getting REM sleep, the type that goes with dreams, but normally comes at the end of a 90-minute cycle. Claudio searches Francesco's brainwave records for the telltale signs of REM sleep, and he finds them. On the top, the fast brainwaves typical of REM sleep. In the middle, the sudden bursts of rapid eye movements. And below, the characteristic low muscle activity. Francesco's REM sleep is normal. What's not normal is how quickly it starts.
A few minutes after sleep onset, REM sleep starts, whereas in a normal night's sleep, a REM takes at least 90 minutes, 2 hours sometimes, and maybe sometimes even 3 hours to appear initially. So the whole architecture of sleep is changed.
Now look at the next nap Francesco took after the REM sleep one. It's mostly deep sleep, characterized by these big, slow brain waves. Francesco seems to be making an extraordinary adaptation to get the 3 different sleep types. Although his sleep quantity has been cut by more than half, the composition is unchanged.
Percentages of sleep stages in the napping schedule are very similar to baseline normal night sleep percentages, which suggests that all sleep stages may be equally important in the function of sleep.
It's now day 33 of the experiment. Francesco is spending a week at the beach. Both mood and performance are slightly below normal, but they're stable. This really seems to be working.
Sorpreso che che adesso per dire riesco a vivere una vita più lunga di confronto normalmente, anche in tempo così breve, senza avere tanta difficoltà.
The experiment's now 2/3 done, and Claudio springs a surprise.
Ciao Franci,
Come va?
come stai?
Bene.
Bene?
For one night only, Francesco's allowed to sleep all he wants. Claudio wants to know if a sudden sleep bonus can affect performance, but he'd kept quiet about the idea so as not to affect Francesco's mood during the first 30 days. Francesco sleeps for 10 hours. But once he's back on his reduced schedule, his mood and performance improve dramatically and stay that way, even exceeding his pre-experiment scores. Claudio isn't sure why Francesco benefited so much, but he thinks sleep bonuses could have practical applications.
This suggests that if a person is under an emergency, the emergency is very prolonged and has the possibility of taking one day off and sleeping as much as the person wants, this will be positive, would give good results, and then after that the person can start again the multiple napping schedule more refreshed than it was before.
Day 48, just one day to go. During the last week, Francesco's been living at the sleep lab. He's under constant observation because experiments running this long are extremely rare. Anything might happen. But the real problem is, nothing's happening. He often finds it a little tough to, well, really get moving after his half-hour nap periods.
Franci, sveglia, è ora. Francesco, sveglia. No signs. Still sleeping.
Francesco's girlfriend, Magda, has a turn.
Francesco.
He has been 2 months sleeping only 3 hours per day, so he has built a tremendous sleep pressure. Now, his sleep pressure manifests mostly in a difficulty to wake up rather than sleepiness when he's awake.
So, although Francesco's been showing sleep pressure for some time, once he wakes up, he does just fine on his test scores. Right now, though, it looks like he'll be scoring a 0.
Sveglia. Sveglia.
Magda gets him to at least sit at the computer, But somehow the questions just don't make sense.
Fai così, non riesce a rispondere.
And finally, he figures if they really want me to stick with the computer, there's only one way to do it. It took half an hour, but he's finally awake. And amazingly enough, his test scores are right on. He answers no to the question, do you feel tired? And yes, he can concentrate. After nearly 2 months with only 3 hours sleep a day, it's an extraordinary performance. Could anybody do it?
Francesco is a normal person, a normal young person, and is very representative, if you wish, of the human species, adult human species. So it is possible to suspect that individuals like Francesco would be able to adapt to this relatively easily, to this type of multiple napping pattern.
Multiple naps seem to work, although left to itself, the body might prevent their use through sleep pressure. They'll pursue this and other questions at the lab. Francesco will be coming back as a subject, although considering his feelings right now, it's a little hard to see why.
È libero. Sono contento di non fare più soprattutto i test. E anche stare in giro senza i dietro, cioè si può andare in giro normalmente. E poi adesso un po' di vacanza.